Welcome everybody to another edition of ShipShape. I'm your host, Community Manager Jared Huckabee, and with me today is special guest, Technical Designer, Mr. Matt Sherman. Matt,
hey.
How you doing, man?
Doing good.
Now, tomorrow we are putting the Drake Dragonfly on sale, and so we thought we'd take a few minutes to talk about the Drake Dragonfly, its origins, and what our initial plans for it are.
Yeah.
Now, the Drake Dragonfly was originally a voting option for our Wave 3 or 4 ships. It would have helped to look that up ahead of time. I think it's Wave 3 ships.
It was the Wave 3 starters, so it was in the same vote. So in the end, that's the vote where the Reliant won out and became the new starter ship. But then also I want to say the Terrapin, the Hurricane, the Dragonfly were all some of the other options. And so there was just enough drive between both internally where it's like, oh yeah, space motorcycle, this would be pretty damn badass. And then just from you guys in the community saying, hey, we want a badass space motorcycle. So we decided to try our hand at making a badass space motorcycle.
Gotcha. Now, in that original vote, the Dragonfly was to be considered as a starter vehicle.
Yeah.
But it's no longer what we consider a starter vehicle. It's more in the lines of a snub craft, like a Merlin or an Archimedes.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what we can expect from the Dragonfly tomorrow?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that we wanted to have with the Dragonfly is a rapid entry-exit onto the ship. So one of the first things you guys will see with that is there is no canopy around this ship at all. The riders are fully exposed to the elements.
So bring your helmet.
Yeah, bring your helmet. You need to make sure your suit has life support built into it. You're not going to have a lot of the accommodations of a life support system or a gravity generator to help you out. But the nice thing is that's only going to be while you're riding the Dragonfly in space. And one of the big things that we wanted to make sure the Dragonfly has is also a full ground vehicle operation.
So this is a multi-mode vehicle here.
Correct.
We have the diagram on your screen right now. You're looking at 3 modes. We have compact mode, space mode, and ground mode. So why don't you take us through the 3 modes?
Yeah, so compact mode, that's where the ship is going to be starting out. So it's really small, a lot smaller actually than we initially envisioned. So, your Freelancer, Constellation, a lot of the ships that people are like, oh, will it fit? Odds are there's a chance it's going to fit, and it's going to start off, rolling out of that ship in the compact mode. So that's really going to be just, till you've cleared the line of the ship, and then the Dragonfly can sort of pick out, it's like, okay, am I in space or am I on the ground? And then it's going to convert to the appropriate mode for that.
Gotcha. So, because we may have buried the lead here a little bit, this is a ship that can actually function in space and on the ground of a planet.
Yeah.
So in its ground mode, I take it flies a bit above the ground?
Yeah, it's going to hover a little bit off the ground. So when we're even sorting out the tech and what's going to drive this, we actually wanted to make sure that we're justifying it with the same conventions that we're already planning into the other systems for our game. So it's going to be using these gravity levitate or grav-lev plates, very similar to what we're planning for how you'll move cargo around, because there's some mechanical apparatus helping you move cargo when we get all that in. So we want it to have that same rationale for, and this is why 2 tons of metal is hovering over the ground.
Gotcha. Another feature folks may not have been expecting, there's a second rider on here.
Yep.
So tell us about the second rider on the back.
Yeah, so because we want this to help with boarding, with raiding, with just fast actions, from point to point, we didn't want you to have to just completely leave this ship alone, because as you can see from the size, it's not the most durable beast out there. So we wanted from the ground up to make sure you can have a second rider on it, and that they're going to actually have a full rear firing arc, because they'll be sitting back to back with the pilot of the Dragonfly, and they'll be able to pull out any of their FPS weapons that they've got available to them and just be firing off behind them. That's going to really play out a bit more once we've got the procedural plants and the surfaces in place, because now, before we were just going to have a gray cat. Well, now we've got something with a little bit of teeth that can dart around, that can just fly about the surface and hopefully not have as much trouble with handrails as the Gray Cat.
And in space, it has all the same components and stuff that like you would expect on a Merlin in an Archimedes. It's got a shield generator, radar, stuff like that.
Yep.
That shield generator extends to the pilot.
It'll encapsulate the whole ship, so like the pilot and the rider would technically be guarded by it. Is not the most potent shield out there. I mean, this is a very small. We actually made a new scale of components that we're considering vehicle class components. So these are separate from normal ship components, but it would be the things that you'll find, in the Gray Cat, in the Dragonfly, in our rovers, and that's what's giving that, much more compact space, but still delivering the power and the functionality that each component, demands.
Gotcha. And since this has a space and a ground mode, can it transition from space to ground and vice versa?
Not of its own power. It cannot do safe for pilot or passenger atmospheric takeoff or re-entry. You will burn to a crisp.
Yes. All right, well, I think that about covers it. The Drake Dragonfly goes on sale tomorrow for $35, and there may be a bonus pack or something to look forward to, so keep an eye out for that. Matt, thanks for taking the time to talk with us about the Drake Dragonfly.
It was a pleasure.
And of course, we'll be doing the standard Q&A post. We'll do 2 next week, so look for that thread that opens tomorrow and post your questions for Mr. Matt Sherman.